Welcome to the Gabrielle Lara Show podcast. This podcast is a safe space for new and aspiring service-based entrepreneurs. Gabrielle is a niche coach, and her unscripted podcast walks you through the highs and lows of entrepreneurship and how to navigate the in-between. You can expect a mix of business strategies and personal development tips to help you get to the next level with a little bit of spirituality sprinkled in as well. Get cozy and please stay a while. You are more than welcome here. Here are 5 hard lessons that I had to learn in entrepreneurship that I can share with you, so hopefully you guys don't have to learn the hard way as well, because it has been quite the journey for me. I share that often. The start of my business was quite the whirlwind, and I've just learned so much through this almost 2 years of being an entrepreneur and navigating some serious highs and some serious lows. So I want to share with you the hard lessons that I learned so that you guys hopefully don't have to learn them as well. Number 1, it is you versus you. Always. There's no competition. The competition is with yourself. I always say this, and if you've been in my community, you've probably heard me say this 500 times, but entrepreneurship is one of the biggest personal development journeys you'll ever go on with yourself. And I say one of the biggest ones because I'm sure parenthood is a huge one. God forbid, you ever get like a terminal illness. I'm sure that is a massive other one. And I don't want to compare to those. So I say it is one of the most intense personal development journeys you will go on with yourself. There are so many times when you just want to throw in the towel, when you've had a bad day. Maybe you went 6 months with making great money, and then you went 1 month with making no money, and you think it's all dried up now, and you've reached your peak and it's over, right? Maybe you got bad feedback. Maybe you haven't booked a single client and it's been 6 months. Showing up when you want to give up is so hard, and getting yourself to do that is a freaking journey. But here's the thing. Your inner bully will likely come in and make itself known, and it takes so much power to shut it up and to reach into that inner bad bitch of yours and bring that out and be like, no, we're doing it. And we're doing it differently. This way didn't work. We're going to innovate and do it this way. We're going to look at this strategically. It is very hard to do that when that's the last thing you want to do. There's times where maybe you're going to look in the mirror and just be like, why am I fighting so hard for, this life? And it takes a while for you to realize that you don't want to be mediocre. And it's not going to come easy. So come hell or high water, you're going to get it done. But when your inner bully just completely comes in over that, that's where the personal development comes in. And digging deep within yourself, because it is hard. Each day it's you versus you. And I find that the earlier that you realize that, the earlier that you can face the beast head on. And if you know, hey, I can either treat myself like crap or I can treat myself amazing, because at the end of the day, it's just me versus me. It's not who's doing it better. It's not who else is in my niche or in my space or doing this or doing that. At the end of the day, you have to look yourself in the mirror. Are you going to be proud of what you're looking back at? Only you will know. When you can treat yourself with the utmost respect, you win. But if you are self-sabotaging, right? If you are speaking so low of yourself, if you're not nourishing yourself, if you're just treating yourself like crap all the way around, that's really when it's you versus you. You're losing because of you. And you'll also win because of you. That was a hard one for me to learn. Number 2, no one gives a shit. Nobody cares. That vision that you have in your head, people that you think are probably going to care about it aren't, until you make something of yourself. And that is so goddamn hard, because you see your vision. And if you're lucky, you have one person in your corner who sees that too, who supports you. A lot of people do not have that. but no one gives a shit until you make something of yourself, until you approach it differently. And that is so freaking hard. So you have to work and work and work when no one is watching. And you have to clap for yourself until people start giving a shit. Because you persevere, right? You knock down those walls. You get a brick wall thrown in front of you, you freaking stomp right through it. That's you versus you. That's you getting through there. And that's you letting people know, hey, you need to give a shit because I have something to say. Starting a business is so hard. I literally think that is harder than a lot of things because you are pumping out content constantly and no one's watching. No one's giving a shit, right? Until you go left when everyone else is going right and you get in front of the group of people that do give a shit. Then you continue to grow that group of people. And then you get yourself in publications, you get yourself on podcasts, you do the YouTube channel, you do what you got to do, and you let people know why they have to give a crap. That journey is difficult. But if you can step into this space knowing, hey, no one's going to give a shit. I need to make them give a shit, right? That's easier. It's hard when you step into it and you're, I don't want to say oblivious or naive to that, but like, you just don't fully believe that. You're like, no, people will care. Then you're let down. Like that was me. Like I had to be like, well, it took a while for me to realize that people don't see the vision that I had in my brain. And the people who did see it, or, I did kind of share it with, like, there's a lot of limiting beliefs that you could absorb, and it's hard. But what's really hard is pumping out the content when no one's watching and clapping for yourself. It's not easy. But when you know, like, it is you versus you, and instead of taking it personally, you look at it like, okay, that didn't hit, that didn't stick, what will? What has stuck so far? What did I even get one like on? How can I continue to do that? And you get smart about it and you get strategic about it. It's huge. So definitely do that. Approach with the strategic route as opposed to kind of taking it all personally. I did a lot of that. I had a lot of growing up to do throughout my business. That was hard, right? It wasn't easy. So my advice on that one is approach it strategically and innovate. If what you're doing is not working, I'm not saying pivot your business at all, but maybe the content approach, we got to shift a bit. That's all right. You're going to be constantly shifting in your business until it sticks. And it's really hard. It sucks. It's not easy. Number 3, there will be deep healing involved for you to continuously get to new levels of your business. They say like new levels, new devils. And I find that one of the trickiest levels, and I've reached a couple different levels of my business at this point, but I always go back to that messy middle. When I was first starting my business and no one was watching the content, I was a failure. My relationship with myself sucked. It took a lot for me to be able to start enjoying myself again and really trusting myself and building that and betting on myself and doing all of that. That is a journey. There's deep healing involved, right? Like if you find yourself, maybe you've hit the 100K mark in your business and you're like, okay, now I need to start outsourcing this to somebody to kind of help me out. But you have a lot of resistance to that. That's healing. Why do you feel you need the control? Where does that stem from? Why is that there? How can you release that? Because if you don't start outsourcing it, then you can only do so much. You can only scale so far by yourself. To unlock that new level, that has to be healed. I don't know why. I legitimately don't know why nobody talks about this because it is mind-boggling and it's one of the biggest things that threw me off. I was like, geez, everyone makes this sound so hunky-dory. Like a lot of people romanticize entrepreneurship. And I love entrepreneurship more than anything. Like it is my dream, and I truly feel I will always be an entrepreneur. But it is glorified and it's romanticized for sure. So that's why I really want to step in here on this YouTube channel, on this podcast, and share with you guys the hardships as well, not to scare you, but so that if you're experiencing them right now, you don't feel alone, because I can't tell you how alone I felt. I felt so alone in my journey. Like I was the only one who was experiencing trouble. because everyone else made it seem like they were making $5 billion in their sleep. It was very, very, very tough. And like, for instance, too, like another example here, if you find yourself scrolling a lot, there's healing that needs to be done there. Why are you comparing? Why, the second you have 2 seconds, do you pick up your phone and do you scroll? A lot of the times we're looking for the dopamine rush, right? We're on our lunch break, we have 15 minutes, you're looking for a dopamine rush. How can you give that to yourself versus externally getting that? Why are you looking externally to get that? Have you always been encouraged that, good things come externally instead of internally? It's always a healing journey. And I always say, like, your business only scales as far as your mindset allows. Because it's true. If your mindset is subpar, your business is going to be subpar. But if you realize that when you put yourself first and that it is you versus you in this whole thing, and it's up to you to win, you'll either win or you'll either lose. At the end of the day, it's you. When you approach it like that and you realize, like, oh crap, I need to come up with a routine. I need to make sure that, like, I am in tip-top shape every single day so that I hit these goals, I make this impact, and I make people give a shit. The people who laughed at me, the people who said I wasn't going to be anything, the people who made fun of me, the people who sent this in group text to their friends, making fun of me, whatever it is, I'm going to make them regret that one day. But, like, if that's your mindset, right, the only way you can do that is if your relationship with yourself is a 10 out of 10. It's huge, and that comes with healing. So number 4, and if you're watching this on video, I have to look at my notes here. I wish I could freeball this, but I'm not too good at that. Discipline is what takes you the long road. Without discipline, like, yeah, you'll be all, super fiery and passionate to start, but discipline's what takes you that long haul. If you want your business to truly turn into a company and not just as operating as a sole proprietor or, one woman, one man show, one person show, it's discipline. If you work from home, right? Maybe I have 2 dogs and a cat. My animals are really freaking cute. And I always want to be with them. I want to be walking them. And the second one starts crying, I'm like, oh, I want to go outside with you. No. That was very hard. Discipline was a hard one for me to learn. But you have to approach it, guys, in a way that, like I say with everything, that works for you. Like, some people work really well in 30-minute increments, right? They set a timer for 30 minutes. Okay, from 5 to 5:30, I'm going to get as much done on this blog post as I can. And then I'm going to take a 10-minute walk or a 10-minute lay down or decompress for 10 minutes, whatever it is, and then come back. Like, that's how some people work. Sometimes I work like that. People don't always just sit at your desk for 8 hours and don't move, and so that your butt hurts when you stand up and, like, you're starving. No. Find the way that works for you, but have enough respect for yourself to stay disciplined. Because that's what it is. When you're not disciplined, you're disrespecting yourself because your goals don't really matter. But why is it, right? Like, when we're hired with a company and they're paying us, we work our tail off in the beginning because we want to impress them. Why don't you do that for yourself? Discipline is self-respect. And if the self-respect isn't there, the discipline's not there, the healing needs to be there. I tried to make these in order the best way that I could, but I hope you see how it all kind of falls into place. You versus you. Make sure that's there because nobody gives a shit. You're your biggest cheerleader. Okay, deep healing's there. Okay, the discipline's not there, then where's the self-respect? That goes back to discipline. It's a staircase. It is a staircase, guys. It's a ladder. Like, it's all right there, but it coincides so deeply. The last one is, it's likely going to turn out not as you have envisioned it, and that's okay. You probably have a plan for your business, and if you're smart, you probably do, right? Like, or at least a 5-year vision, 10-year vision. My 3, 5, 10-year visions drive me like you wouldn't even believe. But I'll tell you, I try not to get too concrete with them because I have learned that they change. If you ever were to tell me 2 years ago that I would be a niche coach and that would be my business, I would laugh so hard in your face because I could not figure out what my business was for the longest time. Why though? It's because I was running from myself. I was running from what I brought to the table. I wanted to focus on what everyone else brought to the table because it seemed to be working for them. But it worked for them because they have healed. And what worked for them doesn't work for me. And what worked for me doesn't mean it's going to work for you, right? That's how it is. So you're probably have this elaborate plan, and it's likely not going to go that way, but that's okay. It's going to go exactly as it's meant to, and I don't doubt that for a second, but it's just probably not going to go as you envisioned. Like, one of my favorite parts about doing my niche intensives is everyone who sits down, like at the end, I swear if I had a quarter for every single person who said this, they always say, wow, this is like, I just didn't expect this at all. And it's like, yeah, because we run from ourselves. We run from who we are and what we bring to the table. But once you stop doing that, then it all comes into play. So these were my 5 hardest lessons that I had to learn. I'm sure I could come up with 5,000 more, but these were the hardest ones for me. And I hope that they helped you guys so that if you are starting your business right now, you can look at these and have a step ahead, right? You can be a step ahead of these so that when you do experiencing yourself kind of stepping into these, right? You can be like, oh, well, Gabby already warned me of this, so we're good. Not too much of a shock. I hope this helped you guys out, and I'll see you in the next episode.
If you enjoyed this episode, please be sure to subscribe, rate, and review this podcast and share it with your fellow aspiring entrepreneurs. Thank you so much for listening, my friends, and I'll talk to you soon.